Okay, always remember first terms always. That's what we are dividing in this long division. And we follow the same old process of the long division. And that's a divide, multiply, subtract, and bring down. Okay, and then write the remainder at the end. Okay, so let's have this first one. Again, first terms always. We have here x squared. Let me do the scratch part here. X squared divided by x. X squared divided by x. So when we divide them, this is 1. Okay. So when we subtract, what's left here is just 1. And then this is already removed. So we already have x. Can you follow? And this x will be written here on top. X. Can you follow? And then after that, let's multiply the answer to the binomial. Distributive property. So we will have x times x, that becomes x squared. Okay, that's x times x, and then x times 5, that's 5x plus 5x. Can you follow? So we are done with the division and then the multiplication. Now let's move on with subtract. For the subtraction, please take note of this. Please take note. Since we will be subtracting here the terms that are following our subtraction sign, always remember to do the changing of signs. The positive will become negative, and then the plus will become negative, and then you proceed to addition. So we just have to add them. Or para mas madali, in simpler terms, let's just do it this way. Okay, para bumibilis tayo ng konti, after writing the difference here, all we have to do is to already change the signs and then combine them. So we will have here, this will become minus, and this will become minus, and then just combine them. Okay? Why? Because that's the process in subtraction, di ba? The numbers or the terms followed preceding the subtraction sign, the sign always changes. So we will have here, kasi x squared minus x squared is just 0, and no need to write 0. Let's continue. 10x minus 5x, pera mo, 10, utang mo, 5. What's left? Utang or sukle? Utang or sukle? What's left? You have here 10x, pera mo 10, utang mo 5, negative 5. What's left? Utang or sukle? Type in the chat box, please. Sukle. Okay, and how much is your sukle? How much is your sukle? 5. It should be 5x. Okay, so we have here 5x. Can you follow? And that's positive. Very good. Okay, let's now continue. After that, we're done with the subtraction. Let's move on with the bring down. Bring down 25 plus 25. Okay? No, now, after doing the bringing down, we now move on to the next process again. We just continue the process. Repeat the process. And that is by dividing again the first terms. First terms again, first terms again. So let me do this. Okay, first terms ulit. So we will have this. Our first term here is 5x divided by the first term here. So we will have x. Okay, and then simplify 5x divided by 5x divided by x, it will just be 5 because x divided by x is just 1. So 5. So we will write it here. It's erased. Let me fix this up. So we have here x. Okay, and the answer for 5x divided by x is 5. So that's positive plus 5. And now, 5 is the one that we will distribute to each term. Okay, and we will write them here below. Okay, so let's do this. So we will have 5 times x, that's 5x. And then 5 times 5, that's 25. And always remember, automatically change the sign. This becomes negative and this becomes minus. And so 5x minus 5x is 0. And then 25 minus 25, that's also 0. Since there's no other terms to bring down, that's already the end of your solution, and that's 0. So we got x plus 5 as our answer. This is our answer, which is very much the same as our answer in the factoring method. Let's see if it's the same. There you go. We got the same answer. Got it? Show a thumbs up or any reaction if you understood that process. Good. That's the second. There's one more. There's one more, because after this, it's you who will choose what method you wish to use. Okay? Now let's have another method. We will use the same example. That's my style. From start till the end, as much as possible, I will just make or use a common answer or a common given, especially if there are varied ways on how to solve it. That is also one way for us to verify if our solutions are correct. Okay? Now let's move on with the synthetic division. This is actually the long division, and this is the real process for the division. Take note of that. And we also have this synthetic division. From the word synthetic, it's a fake division. Synthetic. Synthetic. Just like, halimbawa, pag sinabi lang synthetic yung gamit, o yeah, synthetic bag, it's not a real bag. It's not the real brand. Parang ganun. Division. Okay, synthetic rice. Meron ding lumabas dati yung synthetic rice na sinasabog nila na plastic pala. Yung parang ano, yung gawa ng from the other country. So synthetic, basta synthetic, it is not the real process or it is not the real product. Okay? So that's what we will be learning now. And actually, this is a lot easier. Are you ready? Show a reaction if you are ready. Great. Okay. Okay, let's now move on. See, the long division is quite exciting and haba. Let's now move on with our synthetic division. Okay, this is just actually very easy. Where is that synthetic? There's the synthetic division. Okay. So let's now have this. Actually, this is very easy. We will be using x squared plus 10x plus 25 divided by x plus 5. Okay, so for the synthetic division, this is actually very easy. Everybody listen, listen, listen. Game. So all we have to do is to identify if all the degrees of the terms are complete. In short, dapat kompleto yan from highest exponent to the lowest exponent. Let's have this. This is 2. If there is no written exponent, what's the exponent here? Type your answer in the chat box, please. Basta always ready your chat box, because I always ask you to write or type answers in the chat box. Good. It's 1. So we have 1 here as an exponent. What about 25? Does 25 have an exponent? Mali. Wrong question. Does 25 have its own variable? Yes or no? Does 25 have its own variable? Yes or no? May variable ba ang 25? Your classmates are saying none. Okay, let's verify this. Let's clarify this. X squared. Let's go back to our very first topic a while ago. Polynomial or not polynomial? Ready? X squared. Polynomial, not polynomial. P or NP? P or NP? Type your answer in the chat box, please. Good. P. X squared is a P. It's a polynomial. That's correct. What about 3x? P or NP? Okay, meron naka-realize kanina ng sagot. O, sige, tingnan natin mamaya. It has po pala. 0 lang po yung exponent. Okay. X raised to 0. Very good. Finally, they realized. Good. So this is polynomial. What about 5? Is 5 polynomial or not polynomial? Is 5 P or NP? Type your answer in the chat box, please. Type your answer. Uy, bumagal ang flow of answers. Yes po, it's P, P, P. Great. If it is a polynomial, remember, a polynomial should always have a variable and an exponent. What is the variable of 5 if it's a polynomial? What's the variable of 5 if it is a polynomial? Correct. This is a polynomial. Now, what is its variable if it is a polynomial? It's x. 5x. Kapag 5x, there's 1 there. And 5x is different from 5. 0 po? Okay. The correct answer is, please take note of this. This is nice to know, but very few learners know this. Kasi this is not given much emphasis during discussions. Always remember, a constant is a polynomial because it has a variable. And the variable is 5x raised to 0. Because always remember, any number raised to 0 except 0 is equal to 1. And this x raised to 0 is equal to 1. So when you multiply 5 times 1, that becomes 5. Kaya 5 na lang ang sinusulat. Got it? So if you will look at this pattern, if you will try to look at this pattern, let me erase all this. Okay. Here. 5. If you will look at here, you have here x squared plus 10 x raised to 1 plus 25. The constant here has x raised to 0. But since x raised to 0 is just equal to 1, we need not to write any more x raised to 0. And that serves as your constant. Got it? So, ibig sabihin, the constant still has its variable and the exponent is always 0. Show a reaction if you got that lesson or that context. Very good. Remember that, huh? That will be very important for you to remember. That's very important. Okay. Kaya lang, sayang lang, hindi siya na-emphasize masyado sa mga lessons. Now, I emphasized it for you to remember. Let's continue. So we have 2, 1, 0. So therefore, we have a complete set of terms. Okay. Later, I will give an example with incomplete terms. So we have now here arranged properly, so no problem. Let's now identify the coefficients. What's the coefficient of x squared? Type your answer in the chat box, please. What's the coefficient of x squared? Coefficient, the numerical coefficient, the number before it. What's the number before it? Okay, correct. It's 1. Always remember, if there's no written number before the variable, there's 1 over there. That's a basic concept, but many learners still forget it. So just emphasizing it. Let's now continue. We have here 1. Just get all the coefficients of the arranged terms. 10, 25. That's the first step. You get the coefficients. Got it? Okay. After that, let's make a small box here. Because in that small box, we will put something. Now let's have this binomial. We have x plus 5. X plus 5. Equate it to 0 and then solve for x. When we solve for x, we have plus 5 here. We need to transpose. That becomes negative 5. Very good. That's correct. So we have x equals negative 5. Negative 5 is the value of x. And this negative 5 is what we will be writing here inside this half box. So we will have here negative 5. Negative 5. Can you follow? Show a reaction if up to that part, after that part, everything is clear. Reaction, please. Great. Very easy. Okay. Let's now move on. So this time, I may now erase this part so that it's not so crowded in our solution. Now, let's move on with the first one. Okay. Dito naman, the process is bring down the first term. Bring down the first number. Bring down. And that becomes 1. So BD. That's the first step. BD, bring down. But bring down will only happen first. One time lang to mangyayari. Okay? First and only. First and only. Remember. So after that, we need to multiply the number, the latest number here with our number in the box. So multiply. So we will have 1 times negative 5. The answer is negative 5. And you will write the negative 5 here. Got it? And after that, subtract. Add, or subtract. So 10 minus 5, that becomes 5. Correct? And then do the same process. Ito, ulit-ulit lang to lagi. Paulit-ulit. Paulit-ulit. Wait lang. That's... Ayan. Paulit-ulit. So 5 times negative 5, the answer is negative 25. And then other subtract 25 minus 25, the answer is 0. Very good. So therefore, what's left? Do you have a remainder? 0. Since there's 0, there's no remainder. So what's left now here is, let's identify or let's complete the answer here. So from x squared, you remove 1x, so it will just be x. Tama? So this will become x. 1x. Since this is positive, that's plus. So the final answer will be x plus 5. That's it. And you're done. And we got the same answer as to the 3 different processes. By using factoring. Factoring. Take note of this. By using factoring. Let me use a different color. This. So, factoring, long division, and synthetic division, we all got the same answer, which is x plus 5, and x plus 5. Okay? Show a reaction, please, if that is understood. Thank you. Now, if you will choose, which of the 3 processes do you like the most? The easiest for you. 1, 2, or 3. You can choose multiple answers. Type your answer in the chat box, please. Which of the 3 is or are very easy for you? Sige nga. Type your answer in the chat box. I would like to see how you understood those topics. Okay, good. Wow, I'm glad many of you are also typing number 2 or the long division, because oftentimes the learners do not like the long division because it's lengthy. But actually, it's actually easy if you will just get to know the process correctly. Very good. I'm glad you like the process. And now, look at this. One thing that I want you to take note of. Look at this. Do we have a remainder? Do we have a remainder in our answers? When we say remainder, may sobra ba? Do we have a remainder? Yes or no? Type your answer in the chat box, please. Did we have a remainder in here? Okay, we don't have po. None, 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 none. Very good. There's none. Simply because If there is no remainder, look at this. Look at the synthetic division. The last term is 0. In here, the last term is 0. And in here, there is no excess. It's exactly divided. That is what we call factor theorem. When you say factor theorem, the factor or the number or the binomial that's divided by that, sorry, the binomial that divided the polynomial exactly divided it. In short, there's no excess, there's no remainder, and we call that factor theorem if the resulting value is 0 here. If the resulting value is 0, we call that factor theorem. Okay, let's have this. So since we have here, going back to the synthetic division and focusing on the factor theorem, ayan, for the synthetic division. There you go. For the factor theorem, synthetic division, and also in the long division, actually, polynomials are coming from functions. We have f of x. For example, f of x is equal to x squared plus 10x plus 25. And then the value here, -5, talking about polynomial functions tayo, f of -5, when we substitute this here, this will become, actually, this is the factor theorem. If it's 0, that's a factor theorem. It's a factor. Okay, let's try this. Let me organize it better so that it's clearly understood. Ayan. Oh, let me change this to C because sometimes we are using C here. F of C, and that's the value of x. F of C. Ayan. And in here, F of C is -5. We got that by substitute or by equating x plus 5 to 1. To 0, I mean. Okay? And then the next thing to do here is to substitute 5 to all the variables. So we have -5. Let me change that to red. -5 squared plus 10 times -5. Plus 25. Okay. And after that, by simplifying it, so we will have here f of -5. Remember, -5 is the value of x, which we got when we equated x plus 5 to 0. I hope you can still remember that. Is equal to, let's focus now on this part, on the factor theorem. Okay, let's focus here. So we have -5 squared, that's 25. Plus, 10 times -5, that's -25. That's -25. Am I doing the correct one? This is 50 pala. 10 times -5, that's -50. -50. Okay, and then plus 25. So we have here f of -5 is equal to 25 minus 50, that's -25. -25. -25 plus 25, that's 0. If this happens, we can say that this is a factor theorem. Meaning, therefore, we can say that x plus 5, our binomial a while ago, there, our x plus 5 is a factor. X plus 5 is a factor of x squared plus 10x plus 25. And this is a product of our division. Okay? Because there are also times that you will be asked, is x plus 5 a factor of this given polynomial? So with that, you can do lots of ways on how to solve it. You can do synthetic division, you can do long division, you can do factoring, and you can also do the factor theorem. Okay? Show a reaction based on how you understood the factor theorem. This is already the fourth process that I'm showing you. Okay, so there are lots of ways on how to identify if a given is a factor or not. Okay. And again, at the end of the day, it's you who will choose. This can be solved by synthetic and long division and also by factoring. Kasi if the answer is 0, there, if there's no remainder, that's a factor theorem. And x plus 5 is a factor of the given. Can you follow? I'm just presenting you different ways so that you will get to know them all. Okay, good. Another, if there's a factor theorem, there is also the remainder theorem. Ready for the remainder theorem? Okay, and actually this is also the same as the factor theorem. Just that in here, there's a remainder. Kaya siya remainder theorem. Remainder. And again, the remainder theorem can be solved using long division, synthetic division, factoring, and by remainder theorem. Remainder theorem. Okay, let's see in here. For example, the question is x minus 1 a factor of x cubed plus 3x minus 3x minus 4. Ayan. Uy, exciting. Is x minus 1 a factor of x cubed plus 3x minus 4? Oh, let's do muna. Do you want me to do all the processes or pili na lang tayo? What do you want? Of course, the factoring here, the factoring process is quite difficult to do kasi it's x cubed. Medyo mahirap yon. So hindi tayo ganun kagaling doon. So let's try the doable thing here is the remainder theorem, the long division, and the synthetic division. Synthetic po. Oh, what about you? Type your answer in the chat box. What do you prefer to use first? So we will use either long or synthetic and then the remainder theorem. Kasi long and synthetic pareho lang naman sila. Okay, meron naglalong division. What about you? What's your preferred answer? Synthetic po. Synthetic. Both. Pakita na lang. Let's do the synthetic first. Ready? Again, just like what I tell you, always remember your terms, the degrees should be complete. Okay? So, we have here let's see if are they complete? By the way, are they complete? Are the degrees complete? Kompleto ba sila? No, meron nag-yes. No. What's missing? What's missing in the degrees of our polynomial? What's missing? Squared, x squared. Always remember, dapat kompleto yon. So, wala si x squared. X squared is missing. So, if that's the case, we will put 0 for its coefficient. So, we have here x cubed plus 0x squared. I made it color red to show na it's not part of our polynomial, but it is an essential part of it. Okay? Plus 3x minus 4. This time, is it already complete? Okay, yes. Okay. So, let's think the next thing to do is to get the coefficients. The coefficients here will be 1, 0, 3, and negative 4. Right? Now, divided by what is our number inside the half box? What is the answer, or what is the number inside that in our half box? Type your answer in the chat box, please. Type the answer in the chat box. Okay, good. And they are saying 1. Simply because we got it from here. X plus 1, x minus 1, equate it to 0. Transpose, solve for x, that becomes x is equal to 1. Got it? And that's what we will be writing here. Got it? Sige nga, on your own, kindly solve for the synthetic division of this. Solve for the synthetic division. And type your remainder or 0 if there's no remainder in the chat box when you're done. Go. Do it. Okay. So, oy, your classmates have different answers now. Mali, sorry, sabi. Okay. Let's do this before we end our time. Ready? This becomes, bring down 1 times 1, that's 1. 1 times 0, I want combine, that's 1. 1 times 1, that's 1. 3 plus 1, that's 4. 4 times 1, that's 4. And that is 0. Oh no, they will have the same answer? Who among you got the same answer? Okay. So, yes. Oh, pareho tayo. Who got the same answer here? Who got the same answer? Who got the same answer? Very good. So therefore, what can you say about x minus 1? Is it a factor or not? Type your answer in the chat box. It's a factor. Very good. Okay. This is about to end na. Please join again. And when we come back, please type the answer or the quotient of this division. Okay? This is about to end. See you again for the continuation.